Traffic now backing up before the 680 interchange. Getting reports of a possible stall or accident. Two cars pulled over northbound 680 just past the toll plaza on the Peninsula Bridge. Left lane is blocked. CHP on the way to check that one out. And slow traffic due to roadwork 92 just east of Half Moon Bay. One-way traffic control. Your next traffic update 11:08 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Clouds starting to break up over the bay, sticking around at the coast. We're looking at temps of 60s in the water, 70s and 80s around the bay, 90s to low 100s today and maybe a little bit tomorrow. Traffic and weather together on the 8s and All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS, where it is Friday, August 19th, 2022. Coming up, investigators set to release more information about a deadly mid-air plane crash above Watsonville's airport.
This is Matt Bigler in Oakland. Why Governor Newsom is threatening to pull funding for cleanup efforts of the city's largest homeless encampment.
Good morning. I'm Holly Kwan. CBS News covers your world next.
Nice sag. Very nice sag.
CBS AM, KFRC FM, and HD1, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, and Odyssey Station.
11 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by General Steel.
I'm Stacey Lynn in Washington. A big abortion ruling in Michigan. A judge has blocked county prosecutors from enforcing the state's 1931 ban on abortion.
Until further order of this court, defendants are hereby enjoined from enforcement of MCL 750.14 in all respects. The court finds the unique circumstances of this case, the procedural and factual predicates, the risks associated to the public to compel judicial intervention of this magnitude.
Earlier this month, a ruling said they could charge providers with felonies. Sentencing today for a British national. CBS's Cammie McCormick tells us the ISIS member will spend the rest of his life behind bars.
He was known as one of the so-called Beatles for his British accent. El-Shafi El-Sheikh will now spend the rest of his life in prison. He was sentenced today in a court in Alexandria, Virginia. He was involved in the death of 4 Americans in Syria, journalists and aid workers, most of them beheaded.
There are increased fears of what will happen with Europe's biggest nuclear power plant, which has gotten hit hard the past few days. Our Charlie Daggett reports.
Russian forces captured the plant in the early days of the war. In the past 2 weeks, it's come under sustained shelling as fighting intensifies in the southeast. Missile strikes on eastern cities like Kharkiv, where officials say at least 19 have died and dozens more have been wounded in 2 days of heavy bombardment.
So how can you prevent cancer?
Nearly half of cancer deaths worldwide can be attributed to preventable risk factors, including smoking, drinking too much alcohol, or having a high body mass index. That's according to researchers at the University of Washington. They found that 45% of all cancer deaths and 42% of healthy years lost could be attributable to preventable risk factors.
And CBS's Jim Krasula. Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson's benched for more than half the season. He won't get paid either. He'll also have to buck up $5 million over claims of sexual misconduct from 24 women. After one of the team owners said this case is a good opportunity for the NFL to discuss sex trafficking, ESPN's Bill Rogan disagreed.
This isn't about sex trafficking. This is about your player, the person you gave a boatload of money to, despite stuff you knew was coming down. This has nothing to do with sex trafficking and putting the burden on women.
For the first time ever, more people were streaming shows than watching cable. Streaming represented almost 35% of total TV consumption last month. Checking Wall Street, the Dow is down 236 points. This is CBS News.
If you're a business owner renting or leasing, you can save a ton of money and own a custom-designed building made by General Steel. Just call 877-25-STEEL and get a quote today.
11:03 at the Bay Area's news station, KCBS. Clouds clinging to the coast, but should pull back to sun later on, at least over the bay and inland. Good morning. I'm Holly Kwan. Here's what's happening. The FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board are expected to release more information next hour about what led to that deadly mid-air crash yesterday afternoon at the Watsonville airport. 3 people were killed when 2 planes collided while trying to land. 2 people were on board one of those planes, only solo on the other. Mitch Valdez was at work at a nearby Napa Auto Parts store and tells KPIX5 he heard the collision.
I heard this big boom, like an explosion, like a bomb basically, and it shook our building, rattled our doors. We ran outside to the lot out here, massive plume of black and white smoke and fire on the runway.
Meanwhile, local pilot William Armstrong says there may have been communication between the planes since the airport has no air traffic tower to direct plane traffic.
This is a non-towered airport, so there's no tower. So there's nobody sitting in a tower figuring out who's going to land before and who's going to land afterwards. The way non-towered airports work is you self-announce. You self-announce who you are, where you are, what your intentions are. And usually that works out good, but apparently it didn't work out here.
No injuries reported to anyone on the ground. The MTA will talk to reporters next hour, and KCBS will be there. The clock is ticking on legislation that would establish official prescribed drug injection sites, part of a strategy to keep users safe and divert them into treatment. Now, the governor bill, the idea of safe injection sites has been kicked around for at least a decade, and this is the second time it's come before a California governor. Last time, Governor Jerry Brown shot it down, but this time it comes when the Biden administration is pushing harm reduction strategies. It was done for a long time, like needle exchange and access to drugs that reverse fentanyl overdose. San Francisco State
Los Angeles, San Francisco, Oakland are all asking the state mission to do here in order to reduce the number of overdose deaths and to get people into treatment, because these states are a proven strategy to keep people alive by getting connected to treatment.
law enforcement agencies say these sites send the wrong message. Drugs is okay. The governor has 12 days to sign the veto bill. Once injection is passed, the safe injection bill arrived 9 days ago. Today, or Monday, for some kind of action, or it will do nothing unless it will become law without them personally supporting it. Oakland is not doing enough to clean out a massive homeless encampment that's been the source of multiple fires and criminal activity. According to the governor's office, CBS's Nat Bickler is in Oakland with more.
Oakland's in task for not moving fast enough to clean up the Wood Street encampment. Dozens of cars have been set on fire here in recent months, including a blaze in July that was so smoky it stopped traffic on 880. Daniel Burns, who lives in a condo across from the encampment, says the status quo is unacceptable.
I don't want to bring home I get it. Drugs, mental illness, but the crime is increasing in everyone's neighborhood.
In a 4-page letter, Governor Newsom's office is threatening to cut off $4.7 million in housing funding unless things improve here quickly. Messiah, who's lived at Wood Street for 10 years, says it didn't always used to be like this.
Too many people cause more problems. No, there was outsiders who doesn't live here coming in to cause problems.
Next week, a federal judge has to move forward with plans to sweep the encampment. Along Wood Street in Oakland,
Attorney issued a statement this morning saying the city has received a letter from the governor's office and is reviewing it. Goes on to say the city is committed to working with the state on resolving the homeless crisis. Meanwhile, San Francisco city officials are in talks with San Francisco State about whether it makes sense to open up a university parking lot for RV parking for the homeless. Families living in dozens of RVs that have been parking along Winston Drive and Lake Merced Boulevard have been asking the city for months. Power and water and sewage hookups. Spokesman for the city's homelessness department says the city is looking at the property known as Lot 25 on Winston Drive. No site for RV parking has been selected. There could be pushback against opening an official RV parking site near Lake Merced, which is a quiet residential district. There aren't a lot of services for the homeless. Just ahead on KCBS, one to riding the high-speed rails from San Francisco to the South Bay. 11:08 at KCBS. Yeah, there's a car fire at the Oakland end of the Bay Bridge, and you get it with Dave.
Yeah, eastbound 80 before you get to the 880 split is where you'll see the car burning up. Now, this SUV was being towed by a 2 Ron of the KCBS. CBS phone force when it caught fire. It's off to the right shoulder, but now the fire department is there. The two right lanes are blocked, and traffic is backing up onto the Bay Bridge. Westbound, no minimum lanes anymore. Traffic pretty good run into San Francisco. Under the Protect to the 101 interchange. Biggest delay continues to be Highway 92. Road work out by the nurseries just east of Half Moon Bay. One-way traffic control. That means some big delays. Westbound 92 backed up pretty much all the way from Skyline Boulevard. Eastbound backed up from Highway 1. This road work scheduled until 3 p.m. You might want to think about 280 and Highway 1 through Pacific as an alternate. It's a long way to me. Eastbound 580 in Pleasanton at Santa Rita. We had a crash. It's been cleared to the right shoulder. Traffic is slowly. On the traffic leader, KCBS.
Sunny today, except at the coast. We're looking at 60s at the water, 70s and 80s around the bay, upper 90s inland. Sunny tomorrow, and similar temperatures. You should see sun, at least inland. Afternoon. Traffic and weather together on the 8s and All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
5 p.m. emails from your boss, surprise visits from your in-laws, missing soccer cleats? Let Lucky California help you out with home delivery powered by Instacart. Right now, you can save $10.50 using promo code LUCKYCA10. Special interest ballot proposition.
Written and funded by big out-of-state gambling corporations to allow a massive expansion of online sports gambling.
Prop 27's promoters want to turn every cell phone, every tablet, and every laptop in California into a gambling device.
While 90% of the profits would go to the out-of-state gambling corporations.
Prop 27's promoters claim their proposal is a solution to addiction and homelessness.
Are you kidding me?
Right? Just like we were told the lottery would take care of school funding in California.
The fact is, Prop 27 is just designed to benefit its corporate promoters at the expense of Californians.
Please join our broad statewide coalition, which includes more than 50 Indian tribes across California. Vote no on Proposition 27.
Stop the corporate online gambling prop.
Ad paid for by Yes on 26, No on 27, Coalition for Safe Responsible Gaming, sponsored by California Indian Tribes. Committee major funding from Federated Indians of Great and Rancheria, Pechanga Band of Indians.
Hey guys, if you had a problem with your plumbing, would you wait 6 years to have it fixed? If your car's engine started a misfire, would you drive it that way for 6 years, or would you have an expert fix the problem? The average man waits 6 years to see a doctor about ED, impotence, or low testosterone. At Prime Male Medical, they've helped thousands of men in the Bay Area, and they can help you too. But don't take my word for it. Here's Dr. Robert Rowley from Prime Male Medical.
We have virtually every medication known to man to help men. We specialize in treatments for ED and low T, and we have a 99% success rate. We offer a variety of treatments, including high-dose sublingual lozenges, ultrasound-based shockwave therapy, and injectable therapies. Most impotence problems can be treated in just one visit.
Get your first visit, PSA and testosterone test, Doppler ultrasound, and a full year of follow-up.